life, the bright lights, the type the crowd likes. Where you at, ballers? Ladies love me and men, they wanna be me. They pay to come see me. Where you at, ballers?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Player Performance. So the first show back yesterday, not good, not bad. You know, it was what it was. 1-1, 2-2 on the show. We went 1-1 on the props and then 1-1 with the totals. This way, time. I didn't put any notes together. I'm not doing my handicap today. I do have a long list of possible bets that I'm going to be making. That's going to be for members. But I'm just going to run through the card real quick, give you guys a little bit of different format. I will go through in and out of each and every game. So we're just going to do a quick show. Before we get started, guys, go ahead, like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Smash that fucking button now. Appreciation, of course, always appreciated. And I'm only here today for you guys. Just remember that. I'm here for you guys. All right, so first up, we have the Dallas Mavericks and the Orlando Magic. The Magic are laying 8.5. Total here is at 230.5. I mean, first you want to look under in this game, right? Because you think of the Magic as this defensive team. And the Mavericks, you know, whether or not Flag plays, are they really going to put up enough points? Right now, Flag's questionable, but they do get back P.J. Washington. They do get back Najee Marshall. Klay Thompson also probable. So, you know, there's another shooter. You know what? But then you look on the other side and you look at this Dallas Maverick team and the lack of defense there. And I bet, you know, me and four dudes can go out there and put up 100 plus on this Maverick defense. So maybe a little bit over in that spot, over to 230. It just seems really high priced considering the profile of these two teams. So with a line like that, and you don't know the number, you don't trust the number, you can't make heads or tails of that number, you typically ride in the direction of the number, right? So if this number seems too high, what I would typically do is start to look at the over. I wouldn't want to sniff the under personally because, right, it doesn't make sense just looking at it, why the line is posted where it's posted. So the only direction you want to go with something like this would be up. That 230 seems high, so you would want to look for a path to get up and over. I'm probably not touching it. No, I'm certain I'm not touching it. As far as the side goes, I got to be honest, man. I'm not in the business of laying big numbers with this Orlando Magic team, especially with Franz Wagner. I'm out. Like, I can't. I don't trust the offense. If you're telling me that Banchero is the number one, number two, and number three options, I don't like any of those options. Also, Anthony Black is questionable tonight. Wendell Carter also questionable. So, I mean, there's some laundry list over there as well. Look, this is not probably a game I'm playing, but I would lean to the Dallas Mavericks. I would also lean up and over to 230.5. But like I said, I'm not on either. Let's move on. We're going to head to nation's capital. The Utah Jazz roll in and the Washington Wizards in a game I really want no fucking part of. Trae Young in the lineup is starting tonight. Interesting, right? Interesting. We have a Trae Young sighting. I guess the hair follicles have now stuck and the plugs have stayed in. I guess he got the okay from his Turkish doctor and he's good to go. As far as the game itself goes, I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than bet this game. You guys are more than welcome to have this one. We're going to move on to Houston. Actually up here, we'll go to the Nets Heat, my Miami Heat. And honestly, it's going to be the Heat or nothing for me. It's just that simple. These two teams just met 2 days ago. Heat won and covered that one easily. They got up and over their team total. And honestly, I would probably just look the same way. Get to the Heat team total if you like the you like their offense better than you do their defense, and I don't blame you. But Fontecchio is going to be out. Nikola Jovic is also out. Norman Powell, again, still out. But Tyler Hero is playing good ball, right? Like, so we started the season say, fuck it, trade Hero. With all these trade rumors out there and all these mock trades, I was like, that's fine. Give up Hero. You know what? You can have Hero. Just keep Norm Powell and give us whoever else we're in the market for, right? But now Hero's starting to play like the leader of this team. He's starting to run this offense and he's starting to speed up. I think that's what we're more accustomed to seeing, especially from the start. And I do like the combination of Davion Mitchell off night starting at the point guard and then Tyler Hero coming in at the two. He seems to now play into form. And sometimes that's just what it is, right? You just need a couple games to really get your legs under you. And Hero now has that. I'd like to see what he can do with him and Norm Powell back in the lineup. I think this team could be dangerous. I don't know. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there. You know what? Down in the Heat, they're down in the Heat saying they're just a playing team. I disagree. I strongly disagree. I think this is a team that can make noise because if you look at them 1 through 8, this team is as deep as any in the league. So, I mean, you know, if you disagree, go ahead, drop a comment. But for me, I like this Heat squad. I like the way it's constructed. And I definitely like them in this game tonight. And we also saw that the Brooklyn Nets are just going through the motions. So they're probably another team that's on full-on tank mode. And I will tell you guys this, a little nugget for you. Just fade tanking teams, right? And don't worry about if the game's close at half. Don't worry about if it's close to the third, because they will do you the favor and opt out of the fourth quarter. I promise you. And you see that with the Brooklyn Nets. Claxton starts to sit in the fourth. All of a sudden, Clowney starts taking shots from fucking everywhere. And MPJ has been non-existent in over a month now, right? All of a sudden, he was looking like all-star format. This guy's going to be in the MVP, category and topics. He finally has a team, and I did say this on a podcast a couple months ago, but nope. It's like he had a meeting with the brass, and the brass said, dude, just stop it now. All right, anyway, moving on. Like I said, I am on the Heat. I will be on the Heat team total. Those are the two ways I'm looking. I'm not locked into anything, so just know that. I have no bets, no tickets in my pocket. Golden State heads to Houston to take on the Rockets. It's going to be Houston or nothing. But if you look at this laundry list tonight, for Houston, it's really going to be Tari Eason and Kevin Durant against, the Warriors. So I can't lay 8.5 with Houston, not in this spot. Not unless I get Segun in, not unless I get Smith in, not unless I get Thompson in. I know Tate's out and Van Fleet probably out for the season. Who knows? But I need some bodies, man. Honestly, I need some bodies in. Maybe I look at a Warrior team total under because this Houston, the Rockets are still going to play defense. Maybe you look towards a full game under, but that full game under has dipped. It's down to 212.5. So that basically says all it is. Like when I saw it earlier, it was at 215, 216.5. Now it's down to 212.5. I want no part of that shit. Warriors? Warriors? Do the Warriors come out to play here? I don't know, man. The Warriors suck, right? And they're not actively tanking. They just suck right now. Their three best players have not played since since the All-Star break? But still, you know what? With all these bodies out, it's KD. That's it. That's all you have for Houston. I don't know where the points are going to come from. Houston struggles to score even when they're fully healthy. How are they going to score in this game? So I guess this is a wait and see. You know how the NBA does it with their injury report. If these guys start to come in later in the game, then maybe I look to Houston in the spot. But as of right now, I definitely can't lay this number with the Houston Rockets. Let's move on to Minnesota. Minnesota cost me $65,000 in a parlay 2 nights ago. I had a 9-leg goofy pizza money parlay that I put together for like a nickel, right? Like you guys saw my 7-0 parlay. I did that. And then I added the Lakers full game, the Suns full game, all at alt lines. And then I had the Wolves in there at -9. They win the game by 7. Gobert down the stretch, missed the free throw, and then so did Randall. 65 fucking thousand. And they were up by 14 in the fourth quarter. But that's what Minnesota does. So you can't lay big numbers, and this number is coming down. There's a lot of steam, and I do mean this, a lot of steam coming in on the Raptors in this one. The line right now is 4.5 on Hard Rock. When it opened up, when I first woke up this morning, it was at 6.5. It's now down to 4.5. And I know that Ant-Man just went questionable, right? Let's bring up the splits for this one. Let's see where the sharp money's coming in. Sharp money's obviously going to be coming in on the Toronto Raptors in this spot, right? Like you have to, no, actually pretty even. Actually, 60% of the tickets coming in on the T-Wolves, and then 51% of the money coming in on the T-Wolves. So that's about as even as it could be. I think everybody's just waiting on the news, right? No Ant, no T-Wolves. And then on the other side, Toronto Raptors, you have Ingram, who's questionable, who's a big part of everything that they do. But for me, I guess it's Toronto or nothing. You're going to have to see. Oh, also Clark is going to be questionable as well. Yeah, I would say Toronto or nothing based. If everybody who's on the injury report right now sits, I would honestly be on the Toronto Raptors plus the points. If that line is still 4.5. If it dips even more, I see a 4.5 pretty much everywhere right now. 225.5 is the total. If that dips any more, then I would have no interest. But at 4 or better, I would say it's a Toronto spot, right? Especially if Ant doesn't play. And I'm okay with giving up Ingram if you're giving up Edwards on the other side. So let's move on. Best game of the night by far, not even close. Detroit Pistons, San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs at home laying 3.5. Total here is at 228.5. This line says that you should be taking Detroit in this spot. And everything you know about basketball, about spots, about situations, right, says that this is a Detroit spot, right? Like that's it would all say that, right? San Antonio leads the series 1-0. This is their second and final game because the East Coast versus West Coast. So this would be a bounce back revenge type game. So you would want to take Detroit, and the number certainly favors them. Favors them, right? Like the market is saying that this is absolutely a Detroit spot. I just don't know if I agree. Like I really don't know if I agree. Detroit is completely healthy now. Dorn back in, Isaiah Stewart back in. But I don't know if I can get there. I mean, a couple of injuries, not big injuries, but injuries nonetheless on the San Antonio side. We have Barnes and Ingram out. Plumlee, who gives a shit, but he's out. So that just means more usage for Wemby. That's never going to be a bad thing, right? I mean, I do think San Antonio is the better team. And I do think that they're better in this matchup because Wemby erases pretty much everything that Detroit does well. They want to get in the paint. They want to get to the rim. They're not one of those teams that are just going to bang you from three. Basically, they're everything that the New York Knicks are not in a good way. But when you have this guy literally able to swat everything in the paint from anywhere in the paint, it might just be a bad matchup. Maybe the way to beat San Antonio is to beat them in transition and beat them from three. And that certainly could be true because the New York Knicks seem to have that formula, right? And what do the Knicks do? They shoot an obsessive amount of three-pointers. And though they don't play fast, they play efficient. So maybe that's the way you beat San Antonio. So this could just be a bad matchup for the Detroit Pistons. And if that's what you believe and that's the case, then you want to be on San Antonio in this spot. But as of right now, when I'm just looking at this matchup and I'm just looking at the revenge spot and I'm just looking at this number, and really more so this number, the number doesn't make sense to me. I would think that the San Antonio Spurs in this spot would be 5.5. At 3.5, it just seems incredibly short. So I don't know if I can get there either way. This one might be one of those games that I wait a little bit closer to game time. So let's move on here. We're going to head, sorry guys, bear with me as I pull this up. Here we go. Chicago headed to Phoenix to take on the Suns. Suns laying 10.5. The total here is at 224.5. Everything with the Bulls starts and stops with Giddey, right? So right now, Giddey is questionable. Damn, they're banged up. And you know that this team has no interest in winning games right now, right? Fuck it. I'll just call it Phoenix. Phoenix, every way, shape, and form. I would even say Phoenix team total over. The Chicago Bulls have no interest in stopping anybody. So anything you want to do, starts with stops, just go Phoenix. Has to be the Suns. And I know 10.5 is a big number for them to lay, especially with Devin Booker still not fully back from injury, but back from injury, and he is playing tonight. But Jalen Green and Booker, you know what? They've only been on the court together a handful of games, and they haven't looked bad. It hasn't, but it's still a work in progress, but they haven't looked bad. What I like about this more so than anything is it allows Grayson Allen to come in off the bench. So you're adding a little bit more depth on the offense, and he's able to run that second unit. So it's going to make Phoenix more dangerous in the future. And then I don't know if you move Royce O'Neal back to the bench when Dylan Brooks comes back. But I like the lineup, at least the starting lineup with Gillespie, Booker, and Green. I don't care if it's O'Neal O'Neal's going to give you a little bit more steady offense, a little bit more power from three. Brooks is going to give you a little bit more of the defensive edge, and he can get hot. He can definitely fill up the hole. I don't know, man. But this Suns team might be, at least for me, constructed very similar to how the Heat team is, right? Except the Heat are bigger down low than the Suns are. But I would take the Suns in this spot. I don't care about the 10. I'm not afraid of the 10.5. And so we have another national televised game here tonight. We have the Los Angeles Lakers headed to Denver to take on the Nuggets. And I had always said that this is exactly where Luka should be. Luka should be in Denver playing next to the Joker. Not in La La Land. Not a good spot for this dude. And maybe Nico Harrison was right, man. Like I did say it at the time. I said it to like everybody, was jumping down and they were building these coffins in Dallas. I was like, you know what? It's a good move. Now, granted, you can't foresee AD basically never playing another game in a Maverick uniform. You can't see that. You also can't see them getting rewarded, thank you, Adam Silver, with the number 1 overall pick and getting Cooper Flag, right? You couldn't foresee that. So I'm saying this even without the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, even without winning that. I still say that it was a good move. Because what did Luka show you in the finals against the Celtics? He's not a winning basketball player. He just isn't. He's an offensive heavy player, incredibly talented offensively, one of the best in the game. Yes, but he's a traffic cone on defense. You can't win basketball games with that. You can't win in the playoffs, and you definitely can't win championships. I also argue that in Dallas, it was more the supporting cast than it was just Luka. And if you look back through those playoffs, Luka didn't dominate through the series, right? It was really PJ Washington coming on, Kyrie Irving coming on. It actually had less to do with Luka and more to do with those bigs. Lively was coming alive, and now he's disappeared, right? Gafford was coming up big in those playoffs as well, and then now he's disappeared. But if they get back to form, that was going to be a monster, the roster that Nico Harrison constructed. And it's not his fault that Kyrie hasn't played a fucking game since they traded Luka. It's not his fault that AD never was able to suit up, you know what I'm saying, since they traded Luka. It's not his fault that all of a sudden Lively is a no-show, PJ Washington a no-show, Gafford a no-show. It's not his fault. He gave them a team that should have and could have been could have been in a position to win. And honestly, that roster was constructed so top heavy, so big heavy, it could have been a beast in the NBA and an unstoppable force. And if you want to doubt that, I just argue, look at the Pistons. That roster is constructed exactly how the Pistons is, just better. Just better. I'll make the argument that the trajectory of Lively, of Gafford, way exceeded what Doran and Stewart were. And Tobias Harris. Way better. But you just can't, injury, man. You can't foresee these things. But he was certainly right about Luka. And I get it. You removed the face of the franchise. So the fans are they're breaking out the coffins and acting like things dead. Everything sucks in Dallas now because you removed Luka. I get it. But what's more important, a winning basketball team? Because I do argue right now, the Mavericks are closer than the Lakers. I get it. Throw out the records, man. Throw out the records. Just as far as who's closer to a chip right now, it's by far the Dallas Mavericks. Because at some point, Kyrie Irving's going to be back. At some point, Cooper Flag is going to learn to play the position. At some point, they're going to put it together. At some point, they will get their third. Maybe they already have them. I don't know. But as far as tonight goes, what fucking game were we talking about? The Lakers Nuggets. There we go. Let's get back on track here. The Nuggets are laying 5.5. The total here is at Lakers. And I will say this right now. This is going to be the one game that I do lock in. Boom, button press, ticket in pocket. Not a big bet, but I am on the Denver Nuggets. Look, man, I just don't like anything that the Lakers are doing. And now you have all of this nonsense going on in La La Land with Luka shunning JJ Redick. That's just bad for vibes, right? So the first game after that, I want to fade them. And it's not a big play. It's more of a narrative play. The smarter, sharper play would probably be taking the 5.5. But then why is this 5.5? This shouldn't be 5.5 because Denver hasn't really been playing great basketball. And they're the more banged up, injured team. You can't tell me Maxi Kleber equates to 2 points being out. There's no deduction for points there. Cam Johnson, questionable. That would hurt the number, right? So you telling me with a clean bill of health here that the Denver Nuggets would be laying 6.5, 7? I don't know, man. That seems fat. But I'm on Denver. Small ticket, small ticket. For me, $1,000 ticket. So guys, for those of you who know how I play, know that that's a small play for me, right? Last but not least, Look, the Pelicans are playing basketball, right? At least they're playing hard. At least they're showing effort. The Sacramento Kings are not, right? They're the exact opposite. So it can only be the Pelicans. And I don't even care who's in, who's out. I don't care if Zion plays or not. Murphy's should be playing, and I know now Murray came back only to be out again. But it doesn't matter. Sacramento actively tanking. This team doesn't give a shit. Why should we? There will be no beam lighting. We'll just take the New Orleans Pelicans. What's the line in this game? Pelicans laying 5.5. The total here is at 234.5. Maybe a Pelicans team total over, right? Sacramento doesn't stop anybody. We've seen that. So, yeah, I actually like that look a little bit better. And again, the only thing I've been to the window with at all so far today is the Nuggets. I do have a long list of games that I'm looking at, and I basically just gave you some thoughts in my head. I haven't gotten there yet, though. Like, I'll still wait for more information. I'll wait for a little bit of dust to settle as far as the injury report goes, and then I'll start getting to the window, and that's when I'll start dropping the hammer on some plays. But this is more so just my first real look at the board and just sharing my thoughts with you guys on the day. Anyway, I'll tell you right now, link in the description below. You can pick up the package of what I'm doing today. I have 5 plays so far circled, actually a little bit longer of a list, but there's 5 games that I'm pretty comfortable that I'm definitely getting to the window with. One spot that I'm sure is going to be pretty sizable. You can pick that up right now. Day, week, month, season passes is all available. Wylose.com/NBA. If you want it, come get it. You get the same games that I'm personally betting, the same games that are going to all my members, the same game that we're locking in on. And look, we're hot in the NBA right now. Not a great night for me last night. You know what? I was relying on the Milwaukee Bucks. The second half, just fucking disgraceful. I mean, they put up 70 points in the first half, and then they came out in the second half. And for the first 8 minutes, it looked like they had 5 points. Ridiculous. Anyway, guys, that's it for me here today. I'm going to see you guys back here tomorrow, one way or the other. Either it's just going to be a quick show like this. I'll break down the games, just talk out the card like this. And let me know in the comments if you like this better. You know, because this is way fucking easier for me to do. I just put on the game. I just let my mouth start going. I don't shut up. You know what I mean? And just talk basketball. Always a good thing. Anyway, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Until then, remember, bet with your heads, not above them.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my own.